Some surfers are just like Kelly Slater, always on top of their game. For the rest of us, 99%, surfing can be an endless struggle of non-stop paddling. To solve this, Dmitri and his team from Huntington Beach are developing a next-generation propulsion system called boostfin.
Hi Dmitri and welcome to our show. Your boostsurfing Kickstarter campaign became a phenomenal success, reaching almost 1 million in pre-orders with over 4,500 backers from all over the world, which is the best proof that your idea works and it's needed by the public. But for people who never heard of boostfin, please quickly tell us how it works and what's the idea.
Hey, how are you? And thank you for having me on the show. So boost surfing is technically the fin, the universal fin. I actually have it here so you can see. It's the fin that you would put on a longboard, SUP, or if you want to test it like on the shortboard, you can put it too. So technically we have tons of different adapters. You just install the adapter as your regular fin into your surfboard. Doesn't matter what kind of surfboard you have. Put this fin, and then you'll be able to actually propel yourself and get yourself a boost. So actually that's how the name of the company started. So you get a little boost to achieve two goals mainly. One is to be able to get to the lineup faster. If let's say the lineup is too far out, or let's say if you have an injury, that'd be great because you don't have as much power paddling. Or let's say if you have a shady days and the waves are really small and there's no way for you actually to catch those waves without without any extra power. So those are the main reasons why we actually came up with the idea. And then, it struck a lot of people who have SUP, right? And kayaks came out and say will it work? And we were like, yeah, sure it will. I mean, it's not the intention, but to be honest with you, there's like a big market for stand-up paddleboarders that just kind of cruise in the rivers or the lakes. So that's pretty much where we are right now.
I see. But despite such an amazing acclaim, there is always a low amount of haters who keep spamming your page with annoying comments saying oh, it's cheating if it's motorized, oh, it's just for KOOKS. So what do you have to tell to all those haters?
At the very beginning, I was a little bit pissed. Then I wanted to say thank you for everybody because it a lot of comments. It means that people are not people care. It doesn't matter if it's negative content or positive. It cares. And Facebook loves when there's actually a lot of comments. So they definitely help our marketing for sure. So thank you first of all. Second, a lot of people say haters gonna hate. So and I kind of get where they're coming from, right? So if you're riding the shortboard and you're in one of the spots that are super crowded, for example, Huntington Beach on the weekends is super crowded. So there's one wave and 5 people. We actually call it, it's the weekend because everybody is dropping in because a lot of people are coming to the coming to just kind of experience surfing and you catch the wave and there's 2 people that drops in to you and it pisses you off at the very beginning, but then whatever. So and I kind of get where it's coming from, for in terms of the security, will allow people to get out to the spots where they shouldn't be, right? But to be honest with you, what I think is people have common sense for the most part. There's really small amount of people that will do some crazy stuff, but from my experience, I didn't see some craziness. So I don't think they'll go somewhere where it's kind of too scared for them, right? But it'll definitely help them progress faster and try more waves. And let's say if the break is somewhere near the pier, for example, in Huntington Beach, if you go too far out, the waves are going to be really small, right? And you'll be able to actually get your longboard or soft top and just use the fin where first it's not crowded, and second you'll be able to get that boost. You know, like when I was learning, some of the guys were just like, you know, kind of give you this push, you know, the trainers. So technically, they'll push you out so you can feel that push of the wave, and also and you'll be able to stand up. I know, like, you know, it's kind of some can argue that it's not a good technique, but a lot of people do it. So, and with the boost, you can actually have it yourself, get that boost really quickly, and just be able to learn a little bit faster. So anyways, getting back to the question, some people will have obviously concern, but once we release it, I think it's going to be like, you know, it's going to be good. And again, like a lot of people actually, especially those that are a little bit older, that you know, don't have as much energy as they used to, and they definitely want to experience the same experience as they did at the very beginning, right? They're super grateful for the product. So at the very beginning it was kind of scary, but like right now with so much positive feedback, you know, I'm like, all right, well, everybody will have their own opinions, but we're just doing what we're set out to do. So, well,
personally, I just love anything motorized, because once I became older, it's really hard to paddle, it's really hard to catch the waves. And for me, it's not about being professional, it's about having fun on the wave. And I think it's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the professionals actually, I mean, we'll talk probably a little bit longer about it, but some of the professionals, they don't really need to in order to like the boost to catch the fins, but they're actually having fun. When you're on the wave, you can actually get the propeller going and just have some tricks on a longboard for sure. So.
Exactly. So when I was getting into this motorized surfboard industry, first I was looking into propulsion systems, and I found a system called WAVEJET. It was really big, very heavy, and very, very expensive. It was, I think, around $5,000. Really expensive system that actually didn't work for me. So I'm very surprised that you could make the system that is so small, and at the same time it's very powerful but also very inexpensive. I think your pre-orders come under $200 per fin, which is surprising for me compared to other propulsion systems. So how could you achieve it?
Well, I mean, I think if you focus, and our main focus was to make something that's affordable. I mean, right now, obviously it's a pre-order and you get it at 33% off. I think the retail price is going to be $299 or a little bit higher, like, you know, $329 or something. So our main goal was to not make a lot of money, right? But just to make sure a lot of people kind of experience that. So that's what we try to, I mean, that was our main focus. Then obviously we had experience. My co-founder and CTO, Alex, he's not here right now, but he's on Bali actually. So he had experience, like he's an experienced engineer, and he had experience building devices and hardware. Like I'm more in the software world, but he's a hardware guy. And you know, it makes sense to just do something for the mass market, right? We knew for sure that if we make something super expensive, it's probably not going to work, and we want to make sure that a lot of people experience that. So how can we make it? I mean, first, obviously, you know, you should be able to know how to produce stuff. Obviously, get the components that are high quality for sure, because like we didn't want to like, you know, make something that's of bad quality, and what's the point of, you know, getting something cheap and then just be disappointed in that. So, but at the same time, it should be affordable so that a lot of people can experience this and see if they like it or not, right? So we just set out to achieve that goal, and we were able to achieve it like in a year. And I'm super excited to actually ship the product. So just obviously we were able to, if you get those quantities of where you just order not like, you know, 100 of them, right, but like thousands, we actually we're producing right now 7,000 pieces, so you get the pricing lower, and obviously can just give those savings onto the customers, right? So
Good point. And I know you're based in Huntington Beach, USA, which is basically a surf capital of the world. I used to live nearby in Laguna Beach, and I used to drive 40 minutes down to Huntington and surf there. So it's a special place for me as well. And I know you tested boostfin with several surfers over there. So tell me about actual reactions from actual surfers.
So we, like here in US, unfortunately, because of the COVID, but by that time we had like, a couple of prototypes that, I mean, not couple, but probably like 4, but they were like, early prototypes, right? We had some issues. But we were able to experience, like, give it out to several surfers. One is the Bobby Hasbrook, sure, like, who, if you haven't seen the videos, you can actually go on YouTube on our channel and you can see the video and his reactions. He loved that because obviously he could catch like really small waves, like, out, like far out. And he actually loved it because you can play with that while on the wave, right? So you can just turn it on, and the turns are faster, obviously, because it gives you like, that boost when you actually making the turn. Then you can stand up on the nose because like when it's propelling and you're doing this nose riding, it's giving you this, funny moment that it can just keep the board like, attached to the wave longer, like much longer actually. Then he didn't feel any drag. Then we gave it to girls. They love it too because you don't have to paddle as much. But that was like, we've done tons of testing, but on Bali, right, Indonesia, where my co-founder is right now. So he flew there like in early January, and he was supposed to go to China to kind of like, start the production, but then this COVID thing hit the world, so the world got him paused. But fortunately he was in Bali and he was able to test it with a lot of people. So people love it. So it's just fun device. You can catch more waves. You can go to spots where usually people don't go. And we gave it to another professional surfer. His name is Augusto. Olinto. I'm probably pronounced it incorrectly, but he lives in Bali. He's number 7 on the 2020 men's longboard tour, right? So in W Surf League, WSL. So he's obviously one of the top longboarders in the world. So this is, we have the video that we're gonna release really soon. And it's really fun. He also had like, we have an interview with him as well. He doesn't speak English, he speaks Portuguese, but we'll probably translate it as well and just release it really soon. But he really loved it as well. It's kind of like, opens up new opportunities, and I think it's gonna be fun. Everybody will experience their own, like, things that they like, and I'm really excited and really looking forward to ship the product to like, thousands of people and just be able to get the feedback. Because our main thing is I'm really looking forward to it, to get tons of feedback from people so that we can actually release probably the second version and make sure like, we can address all the concerns that they have, and things that they love will probably improve. So.
All right. And I see on your page the most popular question is what kind of attachment can you do for the surfboard? What systems do you have? What kind of adapters do you have to attach the boost fin?
Yeah, so we were working on actually making we made a video, but we wanted to make the specific page to address this question. To answer it really simply, it'll work with any board, right? So we set out on a goal because it's kind of like, this is a long-term business for us, right? I love surfing, so we want to make sure it's going like, for years. And that's why we will invest our time and energy to make sure we have like all the adapters. But as you probably know, there's like the biggest brand like Futures, FCS, US Longboard, which is a standard longboard fin box, right? And then like for the sub, which is stand-up paddleboarding, you have the standard, like attachment. So those 5 would probably cover like 90, and then like obviously the soft tops, like those kind of like what's the name of like biggest this regular WaveStorm, right? And a similar soft top solutions, they have their own. So those 5 or 6 probably gonna cover like 95% of all the surfboards. So those will come standard. And then for something crazy, right, we also have like an adhesive adapter, which you'll be able to kind of, peel off and just stick to the board. We're testing it right now, how well the adhesive will hold. It's a super strong adhesive, but we haven't tested it like in the salt water. So we're gonna be testing it with stand-up paddleboarders, like, in kayaks right now. So and probably like within 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be able to see if it'll hold. But, I most likely believe it will hold because the adhesive is really strong. If not, we'll just provide like a small solution so you can just like kind of, it's a little bit like pain in the ass. Will take you like probably 10 minutes to install. Adhesive is like obviously 10 seconds to install. So we want to make sure like it's super simple, but at the same time, we want to make sure that it works. So it holds like a good amount of pressure. But after the test, I'll be able to say that. Anyways, if there is any kind of crazy adapters, what we are probably going to do is ask to get this adapter, like get that fin, right? Build the model and just print this adapter as well. So if there's anything that we don't have, we'll make it. So and in the meantime, there's like this universal adhesive adapter that can be stick to pretty much any board. So it's a really small kind of fin box that you can touch, right? So this is going to be permanent on the board, but obviously it's not going to have any impact on the dragging or anything. But the adapter itself could be like removed as well as the fin. So that's pretty much it. But I'm working right now actually with this is one of the important projects for us to just create like a page. Specific page that has all the brands, all the adapters, everything, and in a super easy way to kind of explain of how it can be used. But again, like the simple answer is we have all the adapters to make sure that it'll fit your board.
All right, so everything is covered. We don't have to worry about it. And the most popular question is how about safety? So a lot of people are worried that you have a propeller. What happens if you put the finger inside? Will you actually cut the finger? And actually also if you wipe out, will the board keep on going and pull you, drag you in? How will it work?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a grill set up onto the propeller so that there's nothing else can stick into it. So it'll also help in order to, to kind of protect out of any seaweed or anything from it. You don't have to keep the grill, but that's for your safety actually. But I tested it myself. So like when it's going, so I didn't stick the finger when it's really going at the full speed, but at the very beginning I'd stick the finger, it'll just stop, right? So. And we also working, not sure if it's gonna be in this version, most likely will, but that it can break so if something really hard hits it, we might, for the safety, have a breakable, what's it called? This part, not the motor, but this small, this small thing, so that it'll actually, the part itself, the propeller itself is not really expensive, right? So you can get an extra an extra one with this. So we wanted to see that if something happens, this part will break, right? And just make sure nothing is cut. But yeah, so but we'll have a grill so that you won't be able to stick any fingers into the motor, and you'll be safe. In terms of if the propeller is going to keep going, right? you have two modes. One is the long mode, meaning that you can set and you can set it up like in the app. You can have a continuous mode, you can have a long mode, and you can have like a short mode. The idea behind it is the short mode is kind of like to catch the wave, right? It's like 5 to 6 seconds or 8 seconds by default. And then a low mode is like 20 to 30 seconds is to just get out on the lineup, right? So, and what we saw on the test, right, is that if you fall off the board, usually, so when you catch the wave, right, it's those 8 seconds or 6 seconds, right, it'll stop automatically. And then you also have a controller, which you can obviously click on the button and it'll stop right away. If let's say you're trying to get out and it's a low mode, you just fall, you click really quickly, it'll stop. So you'll have a controller, like this is again an early prototype, but you'll have a button that's attached to your wrist or to your hand that you'll be able to actually control the fin itself and be able to turn it off immediately whenever you need to.
So speaking of control, so I saw your earlier videos and they were saying that you can attach a control directly to the surfboard and press the button. And then I saw you have a wrist control. So which one will you be actually shipping and how will it work?
Yeah, I mean, we thought first, in our first videos is obviously you just touch the button to the board, you just click it and it goes. And it's kind of like, in the tests, it's probably easier if you have on the hand. So we'll be shipping the button. We'll probably have an attachment that you'll be able to attach to the board, but for the most part, we'll have wristband that you'll be able to actually have either on the wrist or on the hand, right? Something like this. Again, this is kind of looking ugly, but you'll be able to attach it in here and just press the button. It's like you press it and go. It's easier because first, it doesn't actually, you don't have anything that's attached to the board. We heard some of the people don't like to have an attachments, like those GoPro attachments. It kind of ruins the authentics of the board. It doesn't look that good. So if you keep it on your hand, you don't have to stick anything. So we'll be shipping like a control device that will be attached to your hand or like the wrist with the wristband.
All right. And I saw on your new video from Bali, you had several boost fins combined on the same board, so to give maximum power. How did you do it and how much power does it give?
I mean, I can show you. We'll be actually releasing the video really quick, but right now I can just, let me see if I can share the screen.
Yeah, that's like 2 fins. Yeah, 3 fins.
3 fins, yeah.
That's a lot of fins.
Well, we'll have a video on the YouTube shortly.
Wow, that's a lot of fins. It's like a jet board now.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a rocket. It's too fast, you cannot catch up anymore.
Yeah, you see, you can drag the person over, and I don't think it was a full speed.
You can actually stand up without waves, yeah?
Yeah, but I think it was on a small board. I don't think it was a long board. Yeah, FCS it was not. No, maybe it was a long board. I don't know.
Looks like 8 feet or something, 7 feet.
Yeah, like 8 feet or something. So yeah, let me stop sharing. But yeah, you can attach it like on a shortboard. Like for example, on the shortboard, I have like 5 fins set up. You can set 5 fins, but it'll be like super kind of, obviously those fins are super small, but ours are bigger. You don't have to set up 3 fins because they'll probably be able to, the surfers the surface of one fin is kind of the same as 3 small fins, FCS or like the futures. So you don't have to set up 3 at the same time. But if you want to have fun, obviously you can do 3. We'll probably test it with 5 as well on the shortboard and see how we can stand up right there. Probably go like obviously because of the way it'll go underneath the water, but yeah. So you can to have fun, but you don't have to.
So do you think you can attach it to the shortboard as well, or only for the longboard?
You can obviously attach it to anything you want, right? For the shortboard, again, we haven't tested, like on the punchy waves, I don't think you really need it, right? So, I mean, you probably need it to actually get out sometimes, right? But we haven't tested it yet. We'll test once I get like, new samples here. I'm waiting for them to come. I'll go out like in Huntington Beach and test it like, on the on this waves and give it out to some of the pros just to test it like with I'll probably for the fun, but we'll see how it performs.
Yeah, it's all sport here for everybody. I'm excited to see how everybody can try it and see what they come up with.
We're thinking about making a shortboard version to have because this one has it's a bigger one. It has the battery inside. On the shortboard version, we're thinking to have a smaller to have a smaller fin and just attach the battery as the traction pad on the top, right? But again, it's kind of an idea, and we're just thinking about it. But we have to test that, if there's any need. First of all, right, we just don't want to create something that people don't really need. But that's a long project, probably either at the end of the year, we'll probably have some announcements if we're actually going to do it or not. But anyways, we're going to test it first and see.
Yeah, maybe you can actually do an actual surfboard to sell, like companies like Jetson. They have the battery inside the board itself.
Yeah. We were thinking about it so in the future we were thinking about it. Right now the most focus is obviously to release our fins, ship it, deliver, make sure we gather as much feedback as we can, make sure it's a good product first of all.
All right, let's get to the Boost app. Tell me how app works, and can you show me the app if possible?
Yeah, so let me share the screen again, I guess. So the Boost app, the main thing is we want to have an account so that all the settings, no matter where you are, is there. But this is the main stuff. So you'll be able to connect the fin, right? So it's pretty much the simple thing as the GoPro. You'll just pair the device. You can change then the name, and then you save the device. This is the biggest one. And again, this is also the first version of the app where you'll be able to control the settings. The main settings are the continuous mode. So if you want to have it in continuous setting for stand-up paddleboarders, right, they all ask to have a continuous mode. So you just press, it goes for whatever, and then when you want to turn it off, just press it again and it'll just be turned off. Then you can control the power of the motor, right? So how much power you want to get. Obviously, the more power, the less battery will last. The less motor power, the more battery will last. And then you have a short boost and long boost. If you have a continuous mode, then it'll be for the long boost, it'll be continuous. But if you don't want to have it set on the continuous mode, then you can set it up, let's say, long boost will be 20 seconds by default, and the short boost will be 6 seconds by default, right? And then you can just create different, modes, We'll have the default mode settings, right? Like the standard surf, standard sub, power sub, continuous, and then customs. And you can create your own, settings to be able to kind of quickly change it up. Let's say if you want to go supping, then you just select one mode. If you want to go to surf, then you just select the standard surf more. And then obviously like, some regular settings and the tutorials. So this is the first version of the app. Then we'll make some announcements about the smart button, like the smart remote control, about how we'll be able to track your progress and give like some advices. But this is the second version. We'll probably announce like in 2-3 months. So yeah.
All right, and I know obviously coronavirus delayed all your production and delivery. What's your plan to deliver the first units? I think you mentioned it will be in the end of summer or maybe in autumn, and you offer black version and white version. Tell us more.
Yeah, so we will be shipping, so most likely, right, like 95%, we're doing everything possible to ship late July, so in about like 2 months, right? Everything right now is going full speed. Production is going full speed. Hopefully there are no hiccups that will delay it further. But I mean, the biggest hiccup right now is that that of the logistics, right? So on the regular days, we can get the shippings from like Asia to here in about like 2-3 days. We have 3 offices, right? One in Bali, second, I mean the main one is here. The R&D is in Europe, and then like also in Bali, right? And it takes like currently like 2 weeks to receive something like from Bali to here, where regularly we just like from DHL we can get like in 2 or 3 days, and it's just like really ridiculous. Sometimes like packages get lost. This is the biggest problem, but hopefully I believe that everything, like right now, everything is set to go, and we should have everything ready mid-July and be able to start shipping it, end of July. So people will start getting it like end of July and early August. That's our plan, and we're doing everything possible to make sure like, the deadlines are not, delayed any further.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And you mentioned about the sub adapter, and I'm excited to see what's the future for your company. Are you going to offer some kind of diving scooter or efoil setup of the boostfin?
There's like many players in the efoil industry. First, we wanted to kind of work with our fin to attach it to the regular foil, right? To see if it can give them the boost to actually reach that speed to actually get in the foil, and then obviously you can just like do that movements to be able to actually catch the wave and surf for as much as you want. But maybe in the future, but this is not the focus, right? We wanted to create the adapter, which I'll show you right now, for the diving scooter. So it's not the same product, it's just the same, it's just a new adapter. Do you see this?
Yes.
So yeah, this is going to be like an adapter where you can have 2. Okay, so technically, this is, as you can see, this is an adapter where you can attach 2 boost fins, right? Exactly the same fins, and you'll be able to actually dive in with the scooter, right? This thing in the middle, you'll be able to kind of do it this way, so you can just kind of like propel in the middle. So we're still playing with that to see like how we can apply that, but I think it'll be pretty fun to go underwater, right, and doing some different maneuvers, kind of like dolphins. So that's another idea, but this is going to be released really soon. It's just an adapter. It's not a lot of it's just a mechanical adapter, right, with the button right here, so you can just press the button and it go. So the other stuff, we are thinking about working on the short boost fin, right? A fin for the short boards, but again, like this is kind of like long term, and we're thinking about the actual surfboard itself, right? That way we can put like surfboard and maybe SUP as well. So that way we can put like more batteries in that and be able to kind of, give a lot more range to people and folks So that's another idea. But again, like right now, the main focus is just to make sure we release and ship our main product right now, and to be able to, gather as much feedback as we can. So this is the main focus right now.
All right, it's been very helpful, and I'm super excited to try out your new fin once it's arrived and share my experience. Thank you so much, Dmitri.
Absolutely, man.
I wish you all the best, and looking forward to see in action.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Right. Take care.
Bye.